Level 1, $120. Age 11. You buy 6 cans of Coca-Cola from your grandfather's grocery store for 25 cents each. You sell them door to door in your neighborhood for a nickel profit per can. You make 30 cents. You do it again the next day. And the day after that. Nobody is impressed. You are 11. You are a kid with a red wagon and a cardboard box and a stubbornness that the people who love you find charming and the people who don't find strange. Your father is a stockbroker. Your house is comfortable. You do not need to sell Coca-Cola door to door. You do it anyway because the activity of turning something into more than it was is not a means to an end for you. It is the end. At 11, you also buy 3 shares of City's Service Preferred Stock, $40. Everything you have saved from the Coca-Cola route and the newspaper delivery and the golf ball recovery operation you ran at the local course. 3 shares at $40. You watch the price drop to 27. You feel the specific cold feeling of watching a number go the wrong direction and knowing your name is attached to it. The price recovers. You sell at $40 a share. You make $5. Then the stock climbs to $200. You sit with that for a long time. You learn 2 things that will govern the next 80 years of every financial decision you make. Patience is not a virtue. Patience is the strategy. And selling because you are relieved is not the same as selling because you are right. You are 11. You already know the most important thing. Level 2. $10,000, age 16. You have never had a job that felt like a job. Every dollar you have earned has come from something you designed, operated, and expanded yourself. The newspaper routes, the pinball machine business you started with a friend, buying used machines and placing them in barbershops, splitting the quarters at the end of each week, the golf balls, the Coca-Cola. By 16, you have $10,000. Not given, not inherited, accumulated quarter by quarter, route by route, with the specific patience of someone who is not doing this to buy something. You are doing this because the doing is the thing. Your friends are doing what 16-year-olds do. Cars and girls and the particular urgency of a life that feels like it is finally starting. You are reading financial statements, not because someone told you to, because the language inside them is the most interesting language you have ever encountered. Numbers that tell stories, ratios that reveal character, a balance sheet that shows you not what a company says it is, but what it actually is. You file your first tax return at 13. You deduct your bicycle as a business expense for the paper route. You deduct your watch. The IRS does not argue. You learn that the rules reward people who understand them and ignore people who don't. Nobody your age is thinking about any of this. You are not trying to be different. You are just following the thing that interests you with the whole of your attention, the way some kids follow baseball statistics or guitar chords or the internal logic of a particular video game. The thing that interests you happens to be the most powerful force in the history of human wealth accumulation. You do not know that yet. You just know it's interesting. Level 3, $140,000, age 26. You have studied under the man you consider the greatest investor who ever lived, Benjamin Graham. Columbia University, the classroom where the language you taught yourself in your father's library finally had a grammar to go with it. Graham taught you that a stock is not a ticker symbol. A stock is a piece of a business, and businesses have intrinsic value that the market sometimes prices correctly and sometimes prices with the specific irrationality of a crowd making decisions based on fear and hope instead of math. Your job is to find the gap between what something is worth and what the market says it costs. Buy when the gap favors you. Wait, collect the difference. It is not complicated, it is just difficult. Because it requires you to be calm when the market is not, to be certain when the crowd is doubtful, to hold when every visible signal says sell, and to buy when every visible signal says run. Most people understand this intellectually. Almost nobody can do it when their money is actually on the line, and the price is moving against them, and the voices around them are unanimous about what the smart move is. You can do it, not because you are fearless, because you have separated the price from the value so completely in your mind that they feel like different objects entirely. The price is what the market is feeling today. The value is what the business is actually worth. Those two numbers converge eventually. Your only job is to be standing there when they do. You move back to Omaha, not New York, where the money is, where the other investors are, where the energy of the market is palpable in the air of every room you walk into. Omaha. Because you know something about yourself that most people in your position do not know about themselves. You think more clearly away from the noise. The distance from Wall Street is not a disadvantage. It is the strategy. You start a partnership, a handful of investors, their money, your decisions, a fee structure that aligns your interests with theirs. You return 251% over 10 years when the Dow returns 74%. Not because you are lucky, because you are patient in a way that the market consistently fails to price correctly. Level 4. $25 million, age 35. The partnership has made everyone involved significantly wealthier. You have made yourself significantly wealthier. The number attached to your name has crossed into territory that most people will never see in a lifetime of working. You live in the same house you bought in 1958 for $31,500. You drive yourself to work. You eat breakfast at McDonald's most mornings, not as a performance of humility, not as a brand, because the Egg McMuffin costs $3.17 and you know exactly what you are getting, and the consistency is worth more to you than the upgrade. People find this strange. People will find this strange for the next 60 years. A man with this much money eating a $3 breakfast and living in a 5-bedroom house in Omaha while the rest of the financial world builds monuments to its own arrival. You are not performing simplicity. You are not making a point. You are just not interested in the things money is supposed to buy once you have enough of it. The scoreboard is the number. The lifestyle was never the point. Spending money to impress people has always seemed to you like a particularly inefficient use of a resource that compounds when you leave it alone. Every dollar spent is not just a dollar. It is every dollar that dollar would have become if you had left it working. That is not a depressing way to think about money. It is, to you, the most clarifying way to think about it. Most people trade their future for their present. You have never been able to make that trade feel like a good deal. Level 5. $620 million, age 56. Berkshire Hathaway is no longer a textile company. It is an insurance company and a holding company and a collection of businesses that you have assembled over 20 years with the same patience you applied to the Coca-Cola route and the newspaper delivery and the pinball machines. The approach has not changed. The numbers have. You look for businesses with what you call a moat, something that protects them from competition, the way a moat protects a castle. A brand so strong that people pay more for it without thinking. A switching cost so high that customers stay even when they shouldn't. A scale so large that competitors cannot reach the economics that make the business work. You find Coca-Cola in 1988, the company whose cans you sold door to door for a nickel profit each at 11 years old. You buy $1 billion of Coca-Cola stock, not because of nostalgia, because the moat is as wide as any you have ever seen and the price the market is offering is not close to what the business is actually worth. You will hold that position for the rest of your life. This is the thing about your philosophy that people spend careers trying to copy and almost never do successfully. It is not the analysis. Most people can learn the analysis. It is the holding, the willingness to buy something you believe in and then do nothing while the market has opinions about it. To watch the price go down and feel nothing except the mild interest of someone who knows the price is not the value. To watch it go back up and feel nothing except the quiet confirmation of a thesis that was always going to take time to prove itself. Doing nothing is the hardest skill in investing. You have made it look so easy for so long that most people assume they are also capable of it until the moment they are tested and discover they are not. Level 6. $50 billion. Age 76. You announce that you will give away 99% of everything you have. Not after you die. Now, incrementally, every year, to the Gates Foundation and 4 family foundations. The largest charitable donation in the history of money given by a person who is still alive to see it happen. The financial world expects a statement, a philosophy, a treatise on why the man who spent 60 years accumulating more than almost anyone in history has decided to give it away. You give them a letter. Simple, clear, the same voice you have used in every annual shareholder letter for 50 years. You say that society deserves credit for the conditions that made your success possible. You say that dynastic wealth concentrates power in ways that are not good for the society that produced the wealth. You say that your children will have everything they need to live well and build well, and that everything beyond that has a better use. You go back to work the next morning, you eat the $3.17 or breakfast. You drive yourself in. You sit in the same office you have sat in for decades, the one with the file cabinets and the stacks of annual reports and the complete absence of a computer because you have never wanted the market's noise in the room where you think. The gift does not change you. Nothing about the number has ever changed you. That is the most remarkable thing about the whole story, not the wealth. The consistency. The man at 93 is recognizably the same man who stood at 11 with a red wagon and a cardboard box and a 30-cent profit and the feeling that the doing was the thing. Level 7, 130 billion, age 93, you wake up early. You have woken up early every day for 80 years. Not because of discipline, because you cannot wait to get to work, because the work has never stopped being interesting, because the market opens every day with a new set of prices attached to businesses you have studied for decades, and the gap between price and value has never stopped being the most interesting gap you have ever encountered. You still live in the house you bought in 1958. You still eat the $3.17 breakfast. You still drive yourself. The wealth attached to your name is larger than the GDP of most countries. It is a number so large it has lost the ability to mean anything in the way numbers are supposed to mean things. It is just a measure of how long you have been doing the thing you were going to do anyway, compounding at a rate that the world did not fully understand until it was too late to dismiss. Here is the thing about Warren Buffett that no biography captures completely. The wealth is not the story. The wealth is the residue of the story. The story is a person who found the thing that interested him completely at 11 years old and never stopped doing it. Never upgraded the lifestyle to match the number. Never confused the scoreboard with the game. Never sold because he was relieved when he should have held because he was right. 82 years of doing the same thing with the same patience in the same city, eating the same breakfast. The market rewarded that consistency with a number that has no useful reference point. But the number was never what he was building. He was building the days, the ordinary Omaha mornings, and the stacks of annual reports, and the quiet of an office without a computer, and the specific pleasure of a mind engaged completely with the thing it finds most interesting. The wealth is what happened while he was doing that. It was never the other way around. You are somewhere in this story right now. Maybe you are 11 with something you find more interesting than anyone around you understands yet. Maybe you are sitting with a position that has gone down, and you are deciding whether to sell because you are scared or hold because you are right. Maybe you have been upgrading the life to match the number instead of leaving the number alone long enough to become something the life never needs to keep up with. Maybe you are doing the thing you were going to do anyway, and you have not yet understood that the doing is the whole point. The wealth follows the consistency. It always did. It always will.